I don't know what to do anymore, guys. I'm too emotional about this fight. Call me Mr. Flip-Flop, because one minute I think Conor McGregor's going to spar Michael Chandler. Then I watch Michael Chandler train and I think, yeah, Michael Chandler's going to absolutely batter McGregor. I don't know. Like, I've got too much emotion in this fight because McGregor is one of my all-time heroes. I'm exaggerating a little bit there, but in terms of like a mega superstar within the UFC and the MMA world and his rise to glory, it was nothing short of legendary. That's why I've got too much emotion brought into this fight. I'm going to be rooting for McGregor, and I do feel like this fight favours McGregor. Just because McGregor tends to do good against the Michael Chandler body type. And I know when he fought Chad Mendes, Chad held him down for a whole round on the floor on 8 days' notice, I think it was. At the same time, McGregor was preparing for a striker in Jose Aldo, so it's to be expected that he wasn't really prepared for Chad Mendes. Anyway, I'm going off freaking track already. Michael Chandler in this fight has got a really good shot at winning. He's game as they come. He wants to stand in the middle and throw down. But as I was saying in my last Conor McGregor video, which you can go and watch up here, if McGregor fights like how he did in the Eddie Alvarez fight, he should smoke Michael Chandler. Now, in today's video, I want to take a look at some of the Michael Chandler training footage. Not too much of it, because he's not really putting out much sparring footage. He's barely even putting out any striking footage. It's all weightlifting, but it certainly seems like he's training with a bit of intensity, as they all do. And I also want to take a look at another few factors to do with this fight that need to be considered. Also, guys, there's a UFC this weekend, UFC 301. I haven't got round to doing my predictions video for it yet, so I'll probably do that tomorrow. So today's video is just tying us over till tomorrow's, really. So we're going to watch this Michael Chandler interview with Ariel Helwani on the MMA Hour. But before we do that, I want to take a look at some of Michael Chandler's training, just to give you a bit of an idea about how good he's looking. Are they 45-pound plates? They look a little bit slim. They might be 35s. So this is either a 160 kilogram squat or 120 kilograms. I'm not too sure. Let's see how he's looking. Lost his balance a little bit there. That was technique, that. 3, 4, oh yeah. Now, as a strength and conditioning coach for the last 13 years myself, I would like to see a little bit longer pauses. That's why he lost his balance on that second rep, because he was trying to go too fast. What he needs to do is eccentrically control the weight down, pause on the bench, and then explode up. So he's looking strong there regardless. We got some kettlebell swings. Okay, so I would like to see a little bit more snap and explosivity on the kettlebell swings. Once again, I'm not getting a Chandler here. I'm sure he's got a great strength and conditioning coach. We don't know the full context of the workout, but he can definitely get a little bit more explosivity in those hips, a little bit more fast twitch movement instead of using his lower back and his glutes to lift the weight up. He's right there in terms of how to perform it, though. I'm not saying his technique's bad. It can just be tweaked a little bit more to get a little bit more out of the movement. Then next he was doing lateral hop, so once again, really good for that explosive, dynamic power. If you like me breaking down stuff like this, then look out for my fitness channel, the actual new fitness channel. I'm going to be releasing that probably in June, July, when I put my app out. So yeah, I've got a training and nutrition app getting released. I can't wait. And I've got an email list if you want to be notified for when it's going to be released. It'll be the first link in the description. Enter your email into there, and then I'll keep you posted on when we release the app. It's going to be within the next 6 to 8 weeks.
Conor McGregor! You and me at 170!
If I told you what weight it's gonna be, 184.
And the weight, 185 pounds.
You'll do what you're told.
Psych! That's the wrong number!
Conor versus Chandler. 5 rounds, 170 pounds.
We'll talk about that in a moment. Very good, not much to critique here. He's doing clean and presses for the first movement. He's doing them in a little bit more of a bouncy style, so he's not looking for maximal force and maximal effort. It's more so being able to produce force, small amounts of force, repeatedly over time. So it's power and endurance combined, which is hard to replicate. Everyone can throw with 100% power once or twice or maybe 5 times, but can you throw with 50% power 50 times? The latter is so much harder. And then here he's doing these band assisted jumps. Now, me and my mates in the gym call these baby bouncers because they are quite funny. But what these essentially do is they allow you to jump extremely high and get that concentric power on the way up. So the concentric contraction is where the muscles are shortening. So he's going through that power phase right there, and it allows him to apply full force without damaging his joints, or even though his joints won't get damaged. It just allows him to not have as much wear and tear on his knee joints because the band's resistance kicks in as he's on the way down and takes some of that weight out of the landing. So really good. And then here we got Chandler doing some more explosive work. You get the idea. And he's doing some rotational work. This is just good for increasing punching power. Chandler is looking really good. I've seen a few people in the comments saying, why does he only lift weights? Doesn't he spar? And of course he spars. This is the thing, is Chandler is choosing what type of content to put out there. He's posting videos of him training because there's not much that you can take from it in terms of how he is going to fight. I remember watching Gilbert Burns train for the Kamaru-Usman fight, and I made the mistake of looking at Gilbert Burns and thinking, he's got a good chance of winning this fight. He looks brilliant. He's training like an absolute animal. And then Kamaru-Usman came out there and battered him. So the only thing that really watching these videos tells us is that he's already in shape, quite far out from the fight. He's not going to have to cut weight either, so he can just focus on increasing his power, increasing his explosiveness, and working on his skill set because he doesn't have to focus on cutting weight for the entire fight camp. Now, this is what is a little bit concerning. Let's listen to what Michael Chandler says here about it being 3 rounds versus 5 rounds.
He did kind of make the case for liking the idea of it being a 3-round main event. And I was wondering what you thought of that, and if that was ever discussed. It's a very, I mean, it never happens anymore, unless it's a fight that was put together on like 5 days' notice. And so what did you make of him throwing that out, and was that ever something that was brought to your attention?
Yeah, it was very interesting. When I heard it, you know, I think I saw the clips later on. I like 5 rounds. I like the idea of 5 rounds. I like the idea of the training camp you have to put in for 5 rounds. I like the idea of the immense amount of the road in front of you, the toil in front of you for a 5-round fight when you step inside of the octagon. One of us wants it and one of us didn't. So that's a good indicator of who's ready to go to battle. So I'm excited about it. I'm glad it's 5 rounds. And, you know, I think it was more discussed on his side more than it was on my side.
Right, so McGregor was actually campaigning for this to be a 3-round fight. Chandler wanted otherwise. He wanted a 5-round fight. People can say that the 5-round fight favors Michael Chandler, but does it though? Because Michael Chandler has never actually been 5 rounds. 2nd round KO, 1st round rear naked choke, 1st round KO. Michael Chandler went 2 rounds with Charles Oliveira, got KO'd in the 2nd round. Then he went 3 rounds with Justin Gaethje, and he was gassed in that fight. And then 2 rounds with Tony Ferguson, knocked Ferguson out in the 2nd round. 3 rounds with Dustin Poirier, once again, quite gassed in that fight. Does this favour Chandler? You could say yes, but I don't think so. I think it's still even playing grounds because Conor McGregor went 5 rounds with Nate Diaz. And we all know Nate Diaz is a cardio machine. Now, granted, he didn't have as much muscle on his frame then as he does now, and that muscle will 100% tire him out more. That was also when he was fighting more frequently. Now, he hasn't fought in 3 years. But, however, Michael Chandler hasn't either. When was the Dustin Poirier fight again? November the 12th, 2022. Okay, so a year and a half. So it's not like Chandler has been super active. He's been sitting on the sidelines waiting for this McGregor fight. Okay, we know that he's probably been training his backside off in hope that he gets this fight. This is Chandler's opportunity right here. He is going to try and take the bull by the horns and give this fight everything that he's got. Not that he wouldn't do that for any other fight, but you know, when you're getting a Conor fight, if you can capitalize on defeating Conor McGregor, it's going to catapult you to even greater heights. Look what happens with Nate Diaz. People were a fan of Diaz, but Diaz was still on a crappy UFC contract and probably had about 200,000 followers until that McGregor fight, and that is what made him a superstar. And Chandler has got all the traits and all the attributes of becoming a superstar because he can talk a good game.
So I give him the respect there, But no, I mean, I don't know where his head was at on the 3-round thing. I mean, conventional wisdom would say obviously it's easier to fight a 3-round fight than it is a 5-round fight. But what does it matter if you plan on going out there and knocking a guy out? What's it really matter, man? The time doesn't matter because I don't expect to see the 5th round bell or even a 3rd round bell.
But Chandler's just leaked his strategy. He said, I do not plan on seeing a 3rd round bell or a 5th round bell. Chandler is coming out there guns blazing. He could have made so many improvements in the last year and a half since his last fight, but we're not going to see any of them because Chandler is going to come out there and do what he does best, which is stand in the middle of the cage, put the pressure on, and he is going to swing from the hip. And I think this fight is going to be crazy. It's going to be explosive. Imagine Conor McGregor coming out there in his karate stance like that, and then Chandler goes to swing in, and then McGregor knocks him out in 12 seconds. Not 13 seconds, 12 seconds. Boom! Like the Jose Aldo fight. Imagine how crazy that'd be. Oh my days. Conor McGregor as well. He hasn't got a bad chin. He's got an okay chin. If I was to rate it out of 10, I'd rate it like a 7.5. So he can get stunned, he can get rocked, but he's not chinny, if you get me. Chandler's had his moments where he's being chinny against, say, Charles Oliveira, but then he went 3 rounds with Justin Gaethje in an absolute war, and then in the 3rd round was taking full force, full power shots from Gaethje, and he was still standing. So Chandler can take a shot as good as anyone, but McGregor's got that precision. He's got that power. Here's Chandler talking about Conor McGregor's training and the pressure that he has on his shoulders right now. This gives you a little bit of an insight into his mindset and how serious he is taking this fight.
Do you think he's training as hard as you?
Nobody trains as hard as me, man. No, so I mean, he's training. You know, he's sparring, he's putting the rounds in, he's putting the work in. I truly believe, man. I mean, there's some pressure on me, right? I can't lose to the guy who's been out for 3 years, right? I can't lose to the guy who's been written off. I can't lose to the guy who gave up and he's sleeping on silk sheets and on his Lamborghini. I can't lose to that guy, right? So there's a lot of pressure going on. And I do know and think training to fight the most motivated Conor that we have ever had. It's going to be hard to top Conor, the motivated Conor from 2016 and 2018 and all the fights that we all loved and all watched his meteoric rise and how he captured the hearts and minds of not just the mixed martial arts community, but the entire world. Now, coming back, trying to prove a point, trying to silence the doubters, but also prove your supporters correct. That's a dangerous man, you know, and when he gets the passion back and the bug back, it's a dangerous man. And he's well-versed in stepping into absolutely huge, massive stages. And 73 days from now, we find out who's the better man on that night.
Chandler's a good promoter, isn't he? He's good. He's getting me hyped. Now, here's Chandler talking a little bit more about his game plan. And once again, this can all be smoke and mirrors. We have to take everything with a pinch of salt. Ariel Helwani asks him, are you going to throw some leg kicks? That's what Brad Tavares done against Chris Weidman after Chris came back after the leg snap that he had. You know, it's a good strategy to take. Is Chandler going to do that against McGregor? Let's listen.
Will you do the same?
Man, I'm not a big leg kicker. Throwing leg kicks hurts me most of the time more than it hurts my opponent. Now, I do have a feather in my cap that I put Justin Gaethje in an ambulance via leg kicks. But that was obviously an orthodox versus an orthodox matchup. This is going to be orthodox versus southpaw. His hurt leg, if you would, going after it, it's his back leg. So me focusing on anything other than just being me and focusing on my strengths, which is always punches in bunches, big punches, punches to the head, punches to the body, pick them up, put them down, type of in your face, foot on the gas, type of Michael Chandler style. It would be silly for me to think about anything more than that. But I don't see myself throwing a lot of leg kicks in this fight. So haven't really thought about it that much.
So good answer by Chandler there. Now, hear me out, Chandler. If you're watching this, which you're probably not, how about this for a strategy? You could go for that right leg of Conor's. Chop it up, chop it up, chop it up. Force McGregor to switch stance. So he has to put the dodgy leg first. You have to put that left leg forward, the leg that he snapped. Now it's fair game. You chop at that leg. You punish him for putting that dodgy leg forward. Why am I saying this? I want McGregor to win. Why am I even entertaining the fact that Michael Chandler could get this? Shut up, Sean. But anyway, right, Chandler, he's looking really confident. I like his answers. He seems like he's mentally switched on. He knows the task ahead of him. He understands the pressure that he's got on his shoulders. I think the whole thing about McGregor asking for a 3-round fight instead of a 5-round fight, I don't think it's worth looking into that much. McGregor's going to train hard regardless. Chandler's also just said, listen, I'm not coming out there to make it to the 5th belt. I'm coming out there, guns blazing, Michael Chandler style, in your face. I'm going to pick you up, I'm going to put you down, I'm going to throw big haymakers, and I'm not going to let you breathe. The thing is, assuming that isn't all smoke and mirrors, Chandler would gas out first. McGregor isn't like a super high output fighter. He's not swinging 100% full force all the time, absolutely emptying the gas tank, whereas Chandler comes out and will literally floor it and throws 100% of his full power into every single shot within a 6-punch combination. So I believe if this fight gets past the 2nd round, they are both going to be absolutely breathing out the asses. What do you guys think anyway? Do you think Michael Chandler's looking good? Do you think he's got a chance in this fight? The last Conor McGregor video we done, there was a good, I'd say a good 20-30% who thought that Michael Chandler was going to get the job done. And listen, yous aren't wrong. It's a 50-50 fight. McGregor's been out for ages. He's been injured. Chandler's also been out for a while. And his body type and his fighting style kind of leans right into Conor McGregor's favour. So I honestly think it's a pick and fight. But I want McGregor to come out and fight like he did Eddie Alvarez though, because I think that version of McGregor absolutely smokes Chandler. What do you guys think? Comment your thoughts down below. Remember to like this video and join my email list to get notified about when my training and nutrition app gets released. It's going to be big. And if you haven't subscribed to it now, I'm telling you to do all sorts. Just pick one of those things. If it was to tell you to do one thing, join the app newsletter. And I'll see you tomorrow for the UFC 301 predictions. Peace out.